Good Thursday morning to you. It's another day. It's time to take another swing at this. It's been about an hour and it's starting to heat up, so I'm going to take a break and then we'll come back to it. Another hour has gone by, and I think you probably get the point. I'm almost done. I probably got a few more buckets worth. Hopefully that gives you some idea what it's looking like. I'll get a shot from up above before too long, but I've got a few more buckets worth of soil. I'm basically just sort of shoving it all over in this direction and then climbing up and taking it out, then taking it over and sifting it and going through that whole operation. Meanwhile, I've had to stop from time to time and build on my big pile of soil here. I've also had to deal with, see, I got a pretty good pile going in the gravel there, and I've been using the overflow extensively with the bigger rocks, and when the gravel starts to pile up high enough, I end up bringing some of it over here, so I got another pile here. See, you kind of get the idea. It's a little bit crazy, but hey, look at the materials I've got. I mean, if the whole idea of this project and the whole idea of being a budget gardener is to kind of work with what you've got. Sifting the soil. Okay, yeah, I had to invest a little bit in building one sifter. The other sifter we already had. Buying the hardware cloth and taking some existing lumber and putting that together. When I got to put the wall up there, I'm going to have to buy the lumber for that. Actually, since this is my parents' place, they're going to cover the lumber. I covered the blocks because that was just kind of a hobby thing last year, but now they're looking at it a little bit more seriously. Kind of like I built one level and I only built it. Whew, I'm tired. I'm tripping over my own tongue. I only built it about 8 feet wide, and now it's 21 feet wide. So I took care of that, and they're going to take care of the lumber, which the prices of lumber are shooting up right now. But I've still got to do some experimentation to figure out exactly how I'm going to do it. But you know, it is what it is. We're going to get this done. We're going to have another planting bed up above, but then that retaining wall, I'm not going to try and build a bed above it. Each time I try and dig back into the hill, I'm creating a cut behind it. And creating the cut behind it would just look ugly and kind of then beg for another retaining wall. So if I'm going to stop at some point, this cut right here, imagine it extending the rest of the way across. This cut here will be the end of it, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 16 feet just as an initial effort, and then I can get to other projects. I tend to get into these projects and get deep into these projects, and other stuff starts to suffer. So try and do 16 feet, then I can plant some seeds, and then I can go back to it later and pick up with the area back here, figure out, you know, what am I going to do? If I go 16 feet from that initial cut there, it's going to land somewhere in the middle of what I've already done here. I'm still going to have to cut that back a little bit more. But that's kind of where we are. That's what I'm working on. So I think the next thing is for me to actually finish removing all that soil and sifting it, and then either quit for the day or try and figure out drilling into this and seeing if I can put rebar or like they had before, the galvanized pipe. You can see one sticking out there. So that's what I need to figure out. So that's what's next. Okay, lunch has come and gone. I finished excavating, getting as much of the dirt out as I think I'm going to get out. I mean, I don't have to get every last little bit, but I did a pretty good job of cleaning up and revealing the hill and the pipe. And took a couple of measurements. I wanted to see how deep the soil actually is, and it generally is about 14 inches deep with a little low spot here, but I think I'm going to go with the 14 inches. That actually means, though, if you take a 3.5 inch 4x4, I know that sounds a little weird if you're not used to it, but lumber in general is usually like sanded down, or when they say 4x4, that's kind of where it was when it was rough cut, and then they have to finish preparing it. So 4x4s are actually 3.5 by 3.5, give or take a little bit. So if you take the 3.5 times 4, you end up at 14 inches. Unfortunately, that's right at the top of the wall if I build the wall that way. And if I'm off by a little bit, then I've got to do a lot of reshaping of the hill just to get it to land exactly at that 14-inch mark. So it makes more sense to go up one more level, another 3.5 inches to 17.5. That's going to be a rather tall wall, though I guess in reality it's going to be about the same as the wall I've already built. And considering that height, I mean, this wall is partially buried. And so this wall here will be, I think, partially buried. I need to take that measurement and figure that out, but that ends up meaning 5 levels of lumber. That's going to cost a little bit. But the other thing I was trying to figure out is in terms of pinning it to the hill and getting it to sit right. I tried excavating, well, not excavating, chiseling a little bit using the cultivator, because this rock is kind of soft. And it turns out, yeah, I can kind of level it out. So, I mean, I would have to level it all the way across from one end to the other in order for the very bottom level of 4x4s to sit flat. But I think that's doable. Unfortunately, we've hit the heat of the day now. The prediction was 90 degrees. It's already 90. I think it's going to go past. They tend to, for whatever reason, underestimate when it gets hot. But I'm going to quit for the day, and we'll pick up tomorrow. And I think I've got to do the experiment with actually trying to drill into this so I can pin it, not only lay it down flat, but also pin it into the hill. And if I can do that, that'll be really good. So I need to figure that out. I need to figure out if rebar is going to work. I need to figure out if a 3/8 or a 1/2 inch or what size of rebar. I bought 2 different sizes, 2 different lengths. I need to figure out how far down can I drill, how far can I pound it in. So that's what I got to figure out. So that's it for today. We'll see you tomorrow. Good Monday morning to you. It's a few days later. Came down with a cold, got over the cold, had some time to think. So here's the game plan. In order to, I also picked up all the lumber for the wall, but in order to really do this right, I ultimately need to finish excavating out all of this stuff here, and I'm going to need to pull all of that backfill that I put in. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the backfill first, put that over in this pile over here, which actually, before my first, I need to build this up even more. I got to find something I can put in there to build up the front wall of this so that I can have that much more storage. It's probably not too much. Then after that, I think I may just take a bunch of this and carve it out, but like actually use a shovel instead of using the cultivator that I've been using, because I can then, or maybe I'll use the cultivator to loosen it all up, but a shovel, then I'm going to toss it up onto the hill into some of the lower spots that are there. Maybe I can even project some of it up higher on the hill where the soil has previously slid down, because ultimately, after thinking about it, I realize that the backfill is only going to go, say, halfway up from where it was before. It's going to be a flat spot instead of being re-sloped, if that makes any sense. So I probably only need about half the soil that I had before, and the big pile here and the tubs that I had prior to digging into this, that together should be more than half of it. This little section here is probably not half. I'm also going to have to carve back a little bit further over here so I can get my full 37 inches clearance. Once I get all of that cleared out, then I can start putting in the lumber. I'm going to still need to do the tests that I need to do to figure that out. And then once I get the lumber in, I can do the backfill. Once the backfill is done, I can finish up the front of the wall here and any other sort of dressing to it. So that's the overall game plan. But I think the first thing I need to do is deal with the front wall on that little storage area there. Okay, that's all my blocks, so that's about the best I can do for storage. But the other thought that occurred to me, and I gotta kind of clean a bunch of things up so I can actually move freely and get this done quickly, but this area over here I could sweep out and make that another storage area for either the soil or the gravel or whatever. But I think what I'm going to ultimately do, I am going to pull the backfill out of here. I'm going to throw it in this flower pot, and that'll give me a fair amount of capacity before I have to then take it over here, dump it on that pile. And then when it comes to this stuff over here, rather than sifting it all, I think I'm going to pick it up and try and pitch it, some of it up onto the hill, but if I have to, some of it over this way. I'll figure it out. But I've also got to move the garbage cans out of my way, things like that. So here we go. Okay, I've already had a couple of unexpected problems. It just shut down on its own, and I just discovered it was zoomed in. So I think what I'm going to do, because it's hard for me to see the screen and it's heating up, as you can hear from the air conditioner kicking on cue, is I'm going to put you in the shade and keep working. Okay, so after the phone quit on me, I went ahead and had lunch anyway. That's about all that's left for me to get out of there. I mean, it goes a little deeper than you might be able to tell, but pretty good effort for a morning. So I'm going to continue digging, trying to finish that off. And then, oh, and the other thing I started realizing as I was excavating was that the pipe itself was being held up by the dirt underneath it. So it actually relaxed a little bit. So that should be, let me see what I put. Yeah, I put the level over here. Now about a full bubble off. I'm not sure if you know what that means, but it's actually now, let's see, a little hard for me to tell from this angle. Oh wow, the bubble's gone the other way. Let me go over to another point. Put it there. We'll take a look. Now it's almost level with the top of the wall. Not bad. Oh, sorry, I'm not pointing at the right one. There you go. So that's a good thing. My whole concern about the fact that, originally I thought the pipe was diving down from this point going that way, and then I found that it was going up. It's actually now down further, so I should be golden as far as adding more to the top of the wall. I'll try one more here without the addition. Wow, that's almost dead level. Yeah, a little high on the wall. So it has fallen a fair amount. That's a good thing. That's going to work to my advantage. So I'll continue digging, and then, oops, sorry about the finger. I'm trying to hold it with the wrong hand. And then I'll try and get a couple of the 4x4s up there just to see what I'm working with. Okay, mission accomplished. I have now excavated out all the way along. There's extra soil down here because that's the area that I had already started to backfill. It's a little mixed up with the bigger rocks and the smaller gravel, but I'm not going to worry too much about that right now. Ultimately, all the rest of this stuff is going to be prime. I may end up with a gravel pad on top of here anyway, at least for a little bit of it. I'm still working out the details of, it occurred to me that if I try to get up on top here, I'm going to need to be able to get into the bed to actually pick whatever I've planted. And relying on just the top wall here may not be quite enough. So I'm still working that out. I'm thinking I might need to have a few gravel pads along the way so I can actually climb into the bed and onto the gravel pad, and then be able to pick what I need to pick, or pull weeds or whatever I need to do. But that is now done, and let me see if I can give you a perspective from down below. Okay, it may be time for me to quit today because I'm starting to trip on things, but look at you can see the pipe deflecting down low. I'm going to need to support it in the end, but I'm not worried too much about it right now. Worst case scenario, pipe breaks and I need to put new pipe in. I think I can use shark bites and PVC to take care of that. What I wanted you to be able to see, and I think from down below it might be a little more obvious, is how the hill sort of undulates the actual rock of the hill. And that's going to play a role in the next step, which is actually getting the 4x4s up there. I want to lay down a couple of 4x4s, basically 16 feet end to end, so I can see what I'm dealing with. I think I'm going to have to carve out a little bit just to try and get it somewhat level. Although if I can keep it straight, it'll have the appearance of being level. That's kind of what I'm thinking on this. Whew, I got some cleanup to do. I've got a pile of soil here much bigger than I wanted. So I think maybe the first thing tomorrow is going to be to move some of this somewhere else. Originally the thinking was, oh, I'll just get the shovel and I'll be able to like stand up there and get a shovelful and toss it up on the hill. No, it's not going to work like that. For one, the pipe is in the way, and I'm trying not to actually break the pipe if I don't have to. What I could probably do to actually support it for now is just put a brick under there. Although actually all my bricks are in use at the moment, retaining soil. So first things first, I've got to get, oh yeah, okay, I've got a paver down there I can use. First things first, I've got to do some cleanup just so we're not all tripping over stuff. That pile can stay there till tomorrow. I've got to make sure that the sprinklers are working because I kept stepping like on this one head here, and you can see the little cap has come off. But I'm going to do the other cleanup first, and then I'm going to come back and hopefully remember, because tomorrow morning these heads are going to go off. And then tomorrow I can get to actually putting the 4x4s in there, figuring out how to pin them, and then start building a retaining wall. If I can get the whole retaining wall built tomorrow, that would be wonderful. And then I can start to backfill and deal with all of this extra fill and extra stuff that's just all over the place. So that's the plan for now. Let's see what tomorrow brings. Good Tuesday morning to you. I guess it's time to try this drilling thing and figure out what's gonna work, what isn't. And here I was afraid this was gonna be a fight. The hammer drill with the masonry bit, that went in just like butter, and it went in deep enough that I can get this big piece of rebar in there. This is not a final position thing. I need to pull this one back out, but it gives me some real possibilities here. If I get, I think this is a 2 or a 3 footer, probably a 2 footer, and if I can get it down far enough, I can pin 1 or maybe 2 of the well, actually it almost looks like I could pin the whole thing, really. I need 17.5 inches, so anyway, I'll figure all of that out. But that was my concern, was is it gonna fight me, or is it just gonna, is the rock just gonna explode? Boy, it just went in like butter. So I'm happy. Now it's time to do a little planning, figure out what my strategy is. I think it's time to move a few things out of the way and get the first piece of lumber up. I may be crazy, but it's after lunch. I've made my parts run. Before lunch, I finished leveling sort of pad to lay these on, so I can get 2 of those up there easily. But the original plan today was to get to the point where the bottom layer was pinned in, so that's going to mean drilling through these 4x4s and driving in some rebar into the hill. So that's what I'm going to try to do. Let's see how far I can get. Oh, and for the uninitiated, yeah, it's supposed to be 85 degrees today in early May. And I'm going to keep myself hydrated, so hopefully that'll help. Nope, that's it. My phone is overheating and so am I. I got most of 3 pins down. I don't know if it showed up on video, but I also got smoke from the hammer drill, so I think I'll let the hammer drill rest overnight, pick it up again in the morning. I think that's it for today, and probably that's it for the video, for this video. So until the next one, we'll pick up where I left off.